John, it's very noticeable that although there's the old you don't get too high when you win and too low when you lose scenario, getting that victory against Morecambe last weekend has clearly made a difference to people around the place, whether it's players, staff, supporters. How much can you harness that and take it into another game and into another weekend of football? How much do you sort of milk that feeling for all it's worth?
You have to, don't you? As I said, wins are everything. You know, it just changes the mood of the place, the camp, whatever you want to say. So, the players, the mentality of players, everyone around the place. So, wins are everything. You can't emphasise enough, and you just want more. Once you've had your first one, if you like, or your first couple, you want more and more and more after that. So, as you said, you can and you have to take it into your next game.
How important is it that it doesn't become in isolation, just 3 points, that you turn that 3 points into performance, more points?
Well, that's on us, isn't it, as players and staff. So we've got to make sure that we're still doing all the right things, all the basics right first and foremost. And then what we bring as an individual and as a team collective and the game plan that you put together to play against whichever opponent it is important. So it can't just be a one-off. It's got to be, the other taste of it on Saturday, so they want more of it. And it's as simple as that going forward, and that's what your aim is.
How important is belief, and specifically that belief that you can hold on to a lead, that you can see a game out, which there have been question marks over previously?
Well, it have, and it's rightly so as well, because it's fact, isn't it? We hadn't. So Saturday we did. We know we can. We didn't previously, but we know we can. We've shown that now. So we've got to show that the willingness, the mentality, whatever you want to say, whichever buzzword you want to say, to make sure that we get it over the line again, when we're in that same situation.
In your experience, do players need to be reminded of those things, or is it in the moment almost like a muscle memory thing? If you're in that situation, you do remember the good things that you did last time?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both, isn't it? I think what they will remember is the feeling that they had in the final whistle. I mean, there's a picture of Seamus spoke about on the social media. You could see the sheer joy in his whole body and relief, and just how much it meant to not just him but to everyone. So you've got to use that, and you've got to harness it, and you've got to go, right, I want more of that. So, and that comes with winning games. So if you get to that point again where you go, no, if it's a muscle memory or if it's something in your head where you go, right, with a certain minute, then we have to make sure that we're in that position again where we're going to get it over the line again.
Only 2 of your weekend starters started in the trophy in the week. With a long trip on the cards, how helpful is that to not necessarily giving players the night off, but that they've not had that workload?
Well, he needed it, to be honest, because we were always going to do it. We discussed it. We've got the squad is the squad, and it's a good squad. We're all together on it, and we plan for these games. They're all in the calendar, so we look forward to the Bristol St Motors, because realistically it is, and the only probably competition that there's a chance of getting to Wembley, this club. So you plan that the priority is the league, and you want to give also some of your academy players and some younger players, if you like, a chance to play first team football and share the dressing room and go to these stadiums where they play at. So it was always the plan. It was always going to happen that we were going to change the team for the Tranmere game, and it was good for us that we can give the lads, and it is a night off. I mean, to be fair to a few of them, they came to the game to watch the game as well, so fair play on them. But as I said, that was always our intention to do that.
Long trip this weekend. Just practically speaking, how do you use that time when you've got hours on end on the coach and hotels and overnights and stuff? Can you give them too much information? Do you give them downtime? How do you make that work?
Well, you have to balance it, right? I mean, we've done this trip plenty of times, so we know there's only a right way to do it when you get a result at the end of it, because you look back and you go, well, we'll do that next time. So you do that next time and you don't get a result or whatever, you get a draw, a point, whatever it is. So, the time is used for, a little bit of whatever you want to do on the bus, some watch films, some read, some listen, podcasts, whatever, play cards, whatever that is. And we also do some video analysis on the previous game, individual clips, unit clips in terms of, the back four, getting them together, the back five, getting them together, the midfield, or the wide players, full-backs, wing-backs, strikers. So it's your time for a bit of learning on that type of thing and reflecting. So because you have got that time, and you don't want to just waste it as a trip and just go through the motions all the way down and get off the bus as stiff as anything. You can sort of stimulate the lads on the bus with all that I've just spoke about.
Gillingham, potentially a formidable prospect given the start that they've made to this season. What have you made of them? And obviously there's one of their number in Jack Nolan that you know very well, and fans here will know very well.
Yeah, they're a good side. You know, they play a certain way. You know, they can mix it up. They can play. They can go long. They've got good players. You know, and big players as well. So we know what they're about. We know the plan. You know how they play in and out of possession, and we've come up with a plan to go and try and get at them.
Just on Jack Nolan, you didn't just lose him in the summer. Obviously there were quite a lot that left the club. How important was he last season, and how big have those boots been to fill? Oh,
Jack was fantastic for us last year. I mean, his assists and goals alone, you know, you try and replace it, but you know, only time will tell with that. But you know, he's a great lad off the pitch, wonderful left foot. He can put the ball wherever he wants to put it because he's got that in his left foot. So you know, we know Jack inside out. We know what he's like. We know his character. We know what he's like on the pitch. So we're looking forward to the challenge. But you know, in terms of off the pitch, you know, Jack's a great lad to work with.
For players that are here now, can they look at players who've moved on and been a success here and been given an opportunity here and think, I can get that opportunity? That can be me. This can be an example that I can follow.
Yeah, I think it has to be. I think that's when you bring lads to the club. I mean, the club's always been about that, hasn't it? You know, getting players from, whether it's non-league, whether it's under 21 football, 23s football, and giving lads that chance and that platform to go and showcase what they've got. So that's what it's always been for. And we're looking for the next ones to go and do that. You know, and you've seen it in the past. You know, there's lads, you know, touched in the Premiership and played in the Championship. He's still playing now regularly, you know, Championship, League One and stuff. And there's still lads that are still in contact with you as well, because you build them relationships with them players when they come to the club. So definitely we've got that in the dressing room now. We've got the togetherness, but we've also got that individual belief that when they do get the shirt, they can go out and perform, and they can go and, you know, go and play higher if you like.
I wanted to ask you about Dara Costello actually, and the impact that he's had in the last couple of games with 3 goals in 2 matches. Would it be fair to say it's taken him a little while to sort of get that place in the team and get up to speed, and how impressed have you been with his contribution in the last couple of games?
I've been impressed with his contribution, also been impressed with his attitude, because what people don't see is when he hasn't played, he's played for the 21s and 23s, and he's had chances, and you know, he hasn't scored, and you know, he's gone through this little bit of a spell, but we knew there was goals in him because that's what he done at Burnley. You know, you don't play for Burnley Football Club if you're not a good player, and you got no end product, you know, because that's what he has to bring, assists and goals. And you know, I did feel for him in recent games, but not the games recently, but games before that. You know, he's played in the 21s and when he started, and he's come on sub. But you know, to get off the mark what he did, and then to go and follow it up with another 2 is brilliant for Dara, because you know, he deserves it as well.
Are forward players quite often streaky, quite often confidence players? If you get a few more come. Yeah,
well, it's normally the way, isn't it? And that's happened to him. You know, he's got his Cheltenham one, then he's got the 2 on Saturday. So hopefully that continues going into Saturday's game against Gillingham.
Is his best position leading the line?
Yeah, well, you know, I've seen him play coming in off the line, from the wide areas, you should say. So, you know, I think he can play there. I think he can play at 10, but the way he's put the goals away now in the last couple of games, you can see that looks like a position that might be in from playing off the shoulder, running in behind. Because he's a technically very good player, and he's quick as well.
Just, you talked about the attitude and the sort of mentality there. It is World Mental Health Day, so it's something that's very much in the spotlight. How different is it now, managing and coaching a group of young men, essentially, to maybe when you were playing or when you started coaching? How much of a focus is there now on the stuff that isn't your physical output and what you can do with the ball?
There's loads. There's a lot of things go into the mental side of things. So, you know, it's off the pitch. You know, we try and build relationships. We try and get to know the players that we bring into the club. Not just you know, it's because we bring them to the club because the skills that and the skill set that they have. But we also bring them in because you know we want to get to know them personally. You know, they come from these clubs on loan. The lads that we've got in that are here now, we want to build them relationships in terms of knowing them off the pitch as well. And I think if you can support anyone that way, it's fantastic. You know, there's, as you're saying about strikers going through, like, you know, a good spell, and you know, you've got to get round strikers when they're going through a bad spell as well. So you know, that could you know, have an impact on the mental side of things. But as I touched on with Dara before, he was having chances in the under 21s, and you know, they were clear cut, some of them, and the keeper's making saves, he was hitting the post, the crossbar, or he was missing the goal. And I could see, and all I kept getting round him, you know, where we played, it was Rochdale in a bounce game, and I kept just saying to him, listen, it'll go in, just keep getting in the right positions, because if he's not in them positions, he's not going to get the chances. And he was getting them, and all and behold, he got one against Cheltenham, and then obviously the two Saturday, we said. But so that'll do him the world of good, and do his mental health the world of good. And I think it's important that you do loads of things off the pitch to help that on the pitch. You know, so it's changed massively from when I was a player. You know, you didn't really get that information overload, whether it was from a technical or from a tactical point of view, or the support. You know, when you were going through any bad spell, because you need to get to know these players in terms of, you know, the families, and you know, because when they go away from the club, you know, I make a point of going in saying, what did you do last night? You know, more so the lone players, in terms of, you know, Zach Ori, always asking him, quiz him, what's he done, what did he watch, where did he go, you know, sort of, because they're away from home, and I've been away from home myself, and you know, it's not nice, because at times it can be a lonely place, so it can play with your mind, but at the same time, he knows he's got everyone behind him, he knows he's got support from the staff, but not just the playing staff, if you like, but also the other people around the club, you know, and the officers and everyone else. So I think it's important that people help with their mental health as much as we can.
Does it feel like an extended family, like a support network for a lot of these young lads?
Well, it is, isn't it? So you can only look at your own experiences with your own kids. You know, I've got two boys, so, you know, I want them to be happy in their jobs that they do. So I support that in terms of being a parent in that way. So any way I can do it, you know, you can see kids have mood swings, and as they grow up, they deal with different things. So, you know, that plays on people's mental health. So, you know, as a parent, you've got to see that and you know, deal with it accordingly. So it's exactly the same. We've got, like, you know, 20-odd players, and, you know, different characters. Some young, some not so young, if you like. But so, and they all bring different personalities, obviously, to it every day. Some of them happy, some of them need lifting a little bit for whatever reason. They might have just had a bad journey in or something, I don't know, something. But you get to know these things, and then they start, you know, confining you a little bit in terms of, you know, sort of opening up a little bit in terms of what they want to open up on. So, and, you know, I think it's important, definitely, because it helps them get where they want to get, whether that's, you know, onto the first team pitch, whether that's getting, you know, a start for the 21s, the under 18s, whatever it is. So I think the support's massive.